Materialism is not a particularly aspirational quality, but our possessions are often reflective of our tastes and priorities and, as a result, tell a story about us, consciously or not. This is a series about those things that we have, that we care about, that help us be who we are or want to be. This is Conspicuous Consumption. This is not a convention recap video. It was sort of intended to head that direction, but then I got to Texas Furry Fiesta with my good camera and the gimbal that I had to explain to airport security, and never took them out of my bags. So while I could talk on about how much I enjoyed the con and the time I got to spend with great friends new and old, emphasis on the old, you know who you are, I didn't actually end up capturing any of the footage I had planned to go along with it. So here's a video of me that honestly sums it all up better than anything I could write. But this has kind of been my experience with cons for a while. Trying to do any kind of event photography, whether conventions, car shows, or anything else, has always been hit or miss for me. I've made my peace with this. There are a ton of other talented folks out there who do this sort of thing really well, but I at least enjoyed getting out and grabbing a handful of nice shots to share with people, especially when I could wind down my evening with some quick editing rather than waiting until the whole trip was over. More recently, though, it seems to start and end with random phone photos, which are still fun, but not the same. Documenting and preserving, but not really creating. It'd be easy to blame the pandemic for this shift because TFF in 2020, just weeks before lockdowns began, was probably the last time I was really excited about shooting photos at a convention, but it's hard to pinpoint exactly why things changed. I know I'm not the only one in this boat, but my general experience with cons has been significantly different since then, and I've had to relearn how to engage with them, and photography is part of that. I could also blame the equipment, I guess. During the quarantine, I upgraded from a Canon 70D to a Sony A7, a move that, by all accounts, has resulted in better fidelity, especially with video, but the camera itself and overall ecosystem just don't feel as good to me, despite being technically better in every way. Both of these honestly feed into the real issue, the pressure of upholding a social contract that, for me, is part of taking photos at cons. I know there are those for whom photography just serves as a personal keepsake, and this isn't intended as a criticism of them, although it would be nice to see proof that my presence was not a figment of my own imagination, but I've always shot with the idea that I'm making a nice little thing for the subject of the portrait, and so I get really disappointed in myself for wasting their time and creating an expectation when I find that the results weren't what I'd hoped and ultimately aren't worth sharing. And so maybe it's just easier not to do that in the first place, I guess. Am I being too hard on myself? Maybe. Always, really. But that's just how I exist, and all I can do is focus on getting better at photography in the moment while also continuing to find enjoyment in the other things conventions have to offer. But hey, also, if you like my work, you're more than welcome to ask me for photos at a con or other event we're both at, and I will do my best to make it happen. This is the second video in this series, and as far as I'm concerned, a better example of the direction I ultimately wanted to be going. While talking about shoes is fun, I was definitely a lot more focused on getting the overall packaging situated, maybe at the expense of the content, and now we can start to shift the balance back to where it belongs. So again, thanks for checking this out. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, or whatever, and if you have any suggestions for future stuff to talk about, let me know. Talk to you later.